All right. Hello, everybody. It's the Meista from Brews and Tunes. Cheers. Very, very excited today. I am chatting with a good friend of mine, Mr. Kevin Kirk, founder and sole proprietor of the world famous heavy metal shop in Salt Lake City, Utah. Kevin, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Victor.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Thank you.
It's great to see you. Great to have you on the show. Well, why don't we talk about kind of I've always been curious, really, like kind of start from the very beginning. Like, how did the heavy metal shop come into fruition? Like, kind of, I know it opened in 1987, but how did it all start? When did you kind of come up with the idea, and kind of what was that process like for you?
Well, let's see. I opened my first store in '86.
Oh,
which
okay.
was an all-around music store, and it's when CDs were fairly new in '86, so people were just going crazy for CDs. So that was called the CD shop, and we specialized in CDs, and I was selling all kinds of music on CD, but I was more into the heavier stuff.
Right.
So people would come in. I kind of I like knowing about what I'm selling. There was a lot of people like jazz and fresh air and that new age stuff.
Right.
They were buying CDs, and I didn't know anything about that stuff. And they'd come in, and I would be, I'd be blaring Rain and Blood, and it just seemed like it would be smarter to just kind of specialize, go,
right.
Go heavier. So that's why I changed it to the heavy metal shop. I still sell some other music, but just music I like, music that I know, and I didn't really know jazz music and classical new age music. So
right.
That was kind of why I did that. And then I like the idea of specializing in it too, and steering away from just being a regular record store, because you could get the Beatles and all that stuff anywhere else. I kind of wanted to just be a specialty shop.
Cool. And I would imagine, I mean, I grew up here as well in Utah, so and that was one thing that I think we were all kind of starved for is especially more underground, what was considered underground metal at that time. There really was no outlet. There was nowhere to find that kind of stuff. It was
really that was before the internet, and it was I think we needed it here a lot too, more than some places. I think just growing up in the conservative environment here. And you had to actually go to the record store to hear a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that aspect of it too, because there's stuff that's kind of just on the fringe of society that's really some of the best music out there.
Did you
still to this day?
Yeah, totally. Did you once you opened the heavy metal shop itself, I mean, it was like, kind of like wildfire. It seemed like I remember when I would go in there, as a teenager, and it would be packed. I mean, there were so many people there. Did you have any kind of expectation that it would just take off like that? Did you see that coming?
Funny. I was 25, and I really didn't have a worry in the world. I was kind of just, before we had kids, and I didn't really think that far into the future. Just kind of, I love being in the music business. And it did. It started out, and then it got busier and busier as we, it's like as word got out there. It was pretty quick though, not the first couple of years. By the time we moved to Sugar House, so we were in Sandy in 87, 87, 88, into 89, and then moved to Sugar House in the summer of 89. And there's one thing I need to tell you though that really helped us was that Z-Rock, that radio station was syndicated here, and we did a lot with them, and we did like remotes and giveaways and stuff. Did a lot of stuff with them, and that was kind of I remember that when that guy, this old guy, his name was Gene, and he had a country station before that. It was on AM. It was 1550 AM. Do you remember that? Were you here?
Yeah, I have a vague memory of that. Yeah,
but I remember. When we'd started, we did a little bit of radio, but it wasn't, like K-Bear was fairly new, but they didn't really play the stuff I was selling,
Yeah.
It wasn't really heavy. It's still, it was, weren't really playing, they still play a lot of the same stuff now even, but back then, nobody was playing Slayer, Metallica, and UFO, and, But anyway, this old guy comes into my shop, and this would have been like spring of '88. So I've been around a little while, and wanting to sell me radio ads on this Z-Rock station. It was AM. And I was real skeptical. I was like, oh yeah, I don't know about that. I've done some radio. It didn't really do much. And he says, well, tell you what, he wanted me to hear what they play too. And I didn't have an AM radio in the shop. I'm like, well, I don't know. And he goes, well, come out to my car. So I go out to the car with this old man, and he turns on the radio, and it was, God, I heard, let's see, I know UFO was one of the things I heard. Slayer, and then Pantera. It was like the power metal was the, Pantera. But, I was selling that. I was selling the cassettes of that. So I was early. Let's see. And it was just stuff that, it's like, wow, I've never heard this stuff on the radio. He goes, well, I'll tell you what, I'll do ads for you. I'll come and do remotes. Because you don't have to pay me anything until you start seeing some results. You start making some money.
Cool.
And you pay me what you think is fair. And it really brought people out. I mean, there'd be a new release. Sometimes it'd be a little more mainstream, like Scorpions or something like that. People would come from all over to come and he would be there doing a remote, which the station was actually in Texas. It was syndicated here.
Oh, okay.
And then broadcasted on 1550 AM. But he was the guy. He was the guy that ran it. And people would come to the store. We'd give away CDs, CD players. We did like promotions like that. He would get a hold of stuff too. We did a promo for Iggy Pop and got a hold of these T-shirts and gave away all these T-shirts. So anyway, it started. I was seeing results pretty quick, and so I started. I'd give him a couple $100 here and there, and we did that for a couple of years. Moved to Sugar House, and then they changed their format. Went more to what like K-Bear was doing.
Oh, okay.
But by that point, we were going pretty strong, and then. Some of the bands were wearing our stuff. Slayer was the first one that showed up in on the cover of Kerrang, Tom Araya wearing a Heavy Metal Shop shirt.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just from then on, it's been uphill. Then leveled out. There was some lean times, and the music industry's changed a lot now.
True.
Where I'm selling a lot more merchandise, which is what bands are doing too. They're selling a lot more of their T-shirts and merchandise and stuff. I still sell records, but CDs are pretty much going out.
Yeah.
They'll come back around. That's what happens.
Yeah, that's true. I remember it was probably, I don't know, at least probably around 10 years ago. I think I had you order a CD for me, and you told me that I was like one of 3 people that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You were one of the last. You were one of the last that kept. I would order CDs for you, and there's a couple of guys now occasionally, but it's mostly records.
Yeah.
They'll still have me order them for them. You've come in and bought records.
Yeah. I love vinyl. Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, you were one of the few. And then I found a good distributor since then too. And they really don't have a lot of CDs there now. It's mostly vinyl and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, cool. You mentioned with the branding with Slayer, specifically wearing your shirts and your sweatpants and stuff and on Kerrang, and and that was one thing I was curious too, kind of the whole what was the inception of the brand, the Heavy Metal Shop brand, which is world famous. I mean, it's, as you said, Slayer, Metal Church, Alice Cooper, you've seen these guys wearing your T-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff on interviews and on magazine covers and whatnot, especially, in the, I remember seeing, I can't remember who, one of those guys was probably Alice, on a MTV being interviewed, and he was wearing a Heavy Metal Shop T-shirt. So it's, curious about it's such an iconic image. How did that come about? Did you design that? Did you come up with the logo?
No, I didn't design that. It was one of my first customers for my first store. Oh, and he was kind of a conservative guy. He was one of those guys that liked the jazz music and liked the stuff I didn't know about. But he was a graphic designer, and he told me, "You ever need a logo?" Because at the time I would just have block letters. It was just CD shop. You ever need a logo? Let me know. So anyway, he's shopping. I'm telling him, I'm going to change the name because I need a logo. And so I'll come up with something. So he had the first thing he actually came up with was the half skull with, or not the half skull, it was a half record. It wasn't a skull, it was a record.
Okay.
And then written out. And I said, well, I like that, but we need like blood or skulls or something. It's, heavy metal. And he was like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do that? And then he came back with the half skull, and I was like, I love that. That's perfect. And I think it was better that it was somebody that wasn't in the scene, because I had my friend Brad Barker. I don't know if you know Brad. He actually drew something for me back then too, and it was a little more gnarly. It was like a flying V guitar going up through a skull with with metal letters, but you couldn't really read that well. Didn't a lot of bands do that too, but you're familiar with them now. But a lot of them you can't, didn't stick out. It was cool artwork, But this half skull thing by this guy that wasn't really in the metal scene, it was perfect, because you could see that from a distance and know what it is. Still, that's what it is. Yeah. It's been around long enough now too. It's really well known. So that was kind of the beginning of that. And then Slayer wearing the stuff that, Tom just did that on his own, just being cool. He had a girlfriend that lived here, and he'd come to Salt Lake, come in the shop, and anyway, when he came in once, I gave him a shirt. And I said, "Yeah, wear this on your new album." He's working on season of this, and he laughed. Oh, you'll see it. And so anyway, the album came out, and it was no pictures in there, but I sold Kerrang magazines at the time, and I got an order in. So this was really cool, because I opened the box and I saw it myself. It wasn't somebody told me about it. I pull it out, and he's on the cover of Kerrang.
Wow.
All throughout Kerrang. And then, for a few years there was all these magazines. I've got a box of magazines with just pictures of Tom and Exodus.
Yeah.
The war shirt. Anyway, so it was just them being cool. It wasn't like a marketing thing or anything. They're just cool dudes that liked it and wore it. And anyway, that's
nice.
And it's still, those pictures they're on the internet now. So that's forever.
Oh yeah, it's so cool. It's so great. I remember. Well, I think I remember. I'm not exactly sure. I probably heard ads for the Heavy Metal Shop on Z-Rock at some, because I remember listening to that as a teenager. And I grew up in Ogden, so not too far from Salt Lake. But I think it was, I guess, when I was in high school, I just started seeing people wearing the T-shirt, with the logo, and I was like, "What is that? What is the Heavy Metal Shop?" So, I have to find this place, and I remember just going there. And it would have been the Sugar House location. And I was probably 17, 18 years old. I started walking in there, and I thought I was going to cry. I'm like, this is heaven. This is what I've always wanted, was a heavy metal store. It was so cool just to, and in fact, I still remember the first thing I bought ever from you was a tape. It was Guar, Scum Dogs of the Universe.
Oh yeah. Sold a lot of those tapes.
Yeah, I was the first thing I'm pretty sure it was either that or the Dwarves. I'm pretty sure it was
a lot of those too.
Guar. I'm pretty sure it was Guar.
I hear that from a lot of people now. Even in fact, there's bands that are like the Watain. Those guys came in, and that singer told me he'd heard of my shop all these years, and he had to come and see it.
Nice.
So stuff like that, and then a lot of stories like that though. People finally have being able to come in.
I don't know if I ever told you this story, and this was not too long ago, just a few years back, before the pandemic, obviously, but it was Death Angel was playing at the Complex, and they had some technical issues. I think somebody's speaker, so they were taking they had to take a break while the techs were up on stage trying to fix the speaker. So Mark, the singer, was just talking, just chatting and telling jokes and talking to the audience. And then he said, "Oh, by the way, I got a kind of a sad story for you." It's not really sad, but he goes, "Yeah, our drummer, Will Carroll, has always wanted to go to the Heavy Metal Shop. Since he was a kid, basically. And so here we are, we're on tour, we got here, and he was all excited, and he walked, I guess, several miles." But he didn't look. It was on a Sunday, so he gets there. Yeah. Closed. So he tells his story, and then and he was so excited. Will was so excited to go, and then he was all bummed because he walked down there. There's nobody there, and so some guy in the front of the in the audience in the front row takes off his shirt and throws it up on stage for Will, and Will puts it on.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. I think he may have come in since then, or maybe I think he's ordered from you. But
he's got a hat now. But I heard that story. That's funny. But I guess nobody told him I was a bishop then, huh?
Nice.
No, if it's too bad that nobody had my number. Could have got it, because I would have came down to the shop.
Oh yeah.
On my day off for something like that.
Right. Yeah. It's too bad he didn't know. Yeah. But I'm sure the next time they come in town, which I think they're coming soon, actually, I'm sure he'll be swinging by. But I've seen, I know, you get a lot of musicians that will come through, and, I've seen you post pictures of people, that, bands I recognize. I'm like, oh, cool. That's, I think, was it Skeleton Witch or Goat Whore, those guys.
Yeah. Lots of road crew guys too. Lots of the road crew guys. Got to know a lot of them over the years too. Coming in, and then even Ryan Adams, he's come in a couple of times.
Oh wow,
he's a metalhead.
Nice.
He kind of makes fun of his own music, but he's way into hardcore metal stuff and punk rock stuff too.
Nice. That's really cool. Well, it's always interesting when you find out like kind of who some of the metalheads are, even though they don't necessarily even play it. But then you find out, they're totally into this. Like, I know, like the Two Cow Garage guys are all metalheads.
Yeah.
They
well, we did an in-store with Tesco B from the Meatmen, and he did, he read from his book and told funny stories, and, he's just a character. But right when he came in the door, he was just like, we're all metalheads, he was so cool.
Nice.
And he bought a Venom shirt.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Probably the same one I bought not too long ago from you.
Probably, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So and speaking of the branding, so you've kind of expanded that too. Obviously, you've got the t-shirts, and I can see behind you, and sweatshirts, and pants, and clothes and hats and things like that. But you've actually, I've got some right here. You've got the hot sauce.
Hot sauce, yeah, that's good stuff.
I've got both of these.
Yeah.
In fact, I used this morning on my breakfast sandwich. It was delicious.
That is good stuff. That's my favorite out of the two.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah, I like the heat and the smokiness of it. It's brilliant. But which is cool. And I should mention it's Irish Irish Spike hot sauce.
Yeah, he's up in Moscow, Idaho. He makes a ton of he comes up with all these good flavors. So
yeah, he does.
He's a hot sauce expert.
Yeah, and obviously people can pick this up from you in the store as well as your website, which I'll have a link to the website in when this is posted. But so people can check that out and definitely purchase that, and they can also check out Irish Spike's hot sauces as well, because I know he's done some bands too, I believe.
Yeah, that's how I was introduced to him. I had Mishka Shubali played in here, and he had some hot sauce he was selling, with his records, and I bought some of his. And it was good, and then I got a hold of the Irish Spikes and had them do some for us too.
Yeah, it's delicious stuff. And then I wanted to ask you, and this, obviously is like right up my alley because of what I do with brews and tunes, but this delicious came out a while ago. Yeah, that's and you connected with this was done by SaltFire.
SaltFire, yeah. They just made another batch too. They sold out the first batch, and so they got some more.
Nice. Yeah, it's great stuff. Yeah, I bought a bunch.
I was saying that you can get, I can't sell beer at the shop, but you can get it at SaltFire. They sell it there. And then you can also get, if you go to Ace's High Saloon, they carry it there.
Oh, cool.
Bar, which is a great place too.
Yeah, nice.
80 and Spence's place. It's a good heavy metal rock and roll place.
Yeah, that is a cool place. Yeah, I've been there a couple times. It's great. Yeah, and this beer is delicious. How did this come about? Did you contact them? They
actually contacted me and asked me if I'm like, sure, that sounds awesome. And then the guy that came up with it, he's in Arizona. He's one of the owners, but I met him at the party, and just such a funny guy. Heavy metal parking lot. That was his idea.
Oh, okay.
With heavy metal shop. Of course, I love heavy metal parking lot too. So and Judas Priest. Yeah. So it was just that was a fun party. Went with my sister and got to see a lot of people down at Ace's. I don't go out that much, because I cut meat in the mornings and then come and do this. So that was a fun one.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's so cool that it's just cool that the community recognizes the importance of the heavy metal shop and its impact, which is profound. I would say it's I mean, definitely for me personally, but I mean, I think just in terms of as you mentioned earlier, especially in the 80s, Utah in the 80s, Salt Lake in the 80s is definitely not what it's like now. It was, I mean, Salt Lake's always, been the biggest city in Utah, but it had a really small town feel to it almost back then. And I mean, now it's much more metropolitan, but there was nowhere to buy really any metal. I mean, apart from, like the Music Land and things like that, they had
there was a lot of record stores, but nobody really specialized,
Yeah.
Cosmic Airplane was a good one.
Oh yeah.
For, they had, the punk rock stuff too, but they were a good one. And then that Mad Platter was a good one for, a lot of import stuff. That was kind of early on in the metal. And then they were actually in Sugar House right next to where we were at, and then moved down the street. And then the Gypsies moved in there where they were at.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a good record store too. But there was a few that had stuff, but nobody really specialized in just that,
Yeah, and it was just cool because I mean, and it wasn't just about selling records too. It was a sense of community. You brought in a lot of bands, and and your impact. I mean, you were heavily involved in the scene.
Well, I'm a fan of music first, and then businessmen second. So that of course, I want to make a living doing this, but it's the music, and I have a passion for that. Just like all the people that come to my shop, we're all the same. It's like, and they know that, people know that. So I think it's important.
Do you think your 20, if you could go back in time, your 25-year-old self, would he be would it blow his mind that the shop is 35 years old? I mean,
it's funny, when you're 25, you don't think about being 60. You don't.
Right.
It's funny, I mean, we were all there, but at young one time, and I never thought about being old. I never, it was just like you kind of lived for the day, which is a good way to live too.
Right.
I like that too. But as you get older, you start thinking about things a lot more. You have loss, and you have, just life is. You think about things more than you do when you're 25. When you're 25, it's like, let's Slayer, let's go.
Yeah.
I remember even that when we were out in Sandy, Slayer playing at the Salt Palace with Judas Priest, and the show started early, so we had to close early to go to the show, because of course we're all going to go to it.
Right.
I had a guy that worked for me at that time too, and we just put a sign on the door, closed for Slayer, big Slayer letters, and went down to that. Went to the Salt Palace to see that. Yeah,
the good old Salt Palace.
yeah, lots of good shows there. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, wow. It's funny. It's just, it's kind of mind blowing to think that. I mean, it's cool. It's great that the shop has been around for 35 years, but it's like, wow, it's been 35 years. That's incredible. That's so cool. Especially in, I know you and I have talked about this before. I'm sure the early 2000s, must have been tough because everybody was downloading music. Nobody was buying anything anymore, it seemed like.
That changed how people buy music, and it's definitely everybody's streaming now, but it evolved into more than just selling music too, though. With my merchandise and with band merchandise too. The internet kind of changed that too, because you could order that stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
But the thing about my stuff is you can't get my stuff on Amazon. You can't.
Right.
You have to get it from me. You have to either order it from my website or from me, or come into the shop, which keeps it's not just a business thing, because I could sell it on Amazon if I wanted to.
Right. Yeah.
I have no interest in that at all.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. There's still that place to go and talk music and find, discover new music, from you, which is
I love talking with people about music too, and there's all another generation of kids now, and I've get a lot of them will come in like, my dad used to bring me in here when I was a little kid, or, they're carrying it on. They're bringing their kids in.
Yeah, I think
So,
it's, in fact, I was going to say, yeah, I think the last time I was at the shop, some young guys came in, like young, they were teenagers, and yeah, they were buying vinyl, and it made me so happy to see that, and they were buying like old, like I think one of them had Venom, and I'm like, oh, that's
yeah.
so cool. Like, it's just
Well, I
great to
kind of,
see.
I'm being old. I carry a lot of classic stuff, and I love seeing them. Yeah, listening to the classic stuff too.
Like that you mentioned, like, kids, going in with their parents when when they were young. I thought this was cool. I was at Smith's here in Ogden, just buying my groceries one day, and and I have the heavy metal shop mask that I wear, and this kid, oh, not a kid, he was probably in his early 20s. He was stocking the produce, and he saw me, and he's like, "Hey, heavy metal shop, do you know Kevin?" I'm like, "Yeah, I love Kevin." He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "I used to hang out there as a kid all the time. My dad went there a lot." He goes, "And I just hang out." And he goes, "Kevin was always so nice to me, and he's like, let me play with the toys and stuff." I'm
Oh,
like,
cool.
"Oh, that's cool." Yeah, I didn't catch his name, but yeah, tall guy. But yeah, he was really cool. It was just cool to hear that. It's like, yeah, I used to go there as like a young child and just hang out.
I love hearing that, and I love people telling me how important the shop was to them when growing up too.
Oh yeah,
They'll come at Christmas time to visit their family or whatever, and they always come and see me and just how important this way and how it hasn't changed. They love that too. It really hasn't. They feel like they can come in and it's still the same, still me.
I mean, that's, yeah, the same for me. I mean, it was really important. When I moved to Salt Lake, I was 18, 19, and I remember and I'd walk down. I lived in the dorm at Westminster, and I'd walk down, and there would be times I didn't even have any money. I'd just go and hang out in the shop, just look, and talk to you, just because I loved just being in there. Just that kind of community, that metal community was it was a fun place to be.
A lot of kids left school and would come to the shop. They tell me that, later. Yeah, I used to come down and hang out when which I didn't know they were sloughing. I figured, yeah, whatever. But I was going to say about that. I had a guy, actually a couple that told me they met in line. It was either to meet Slayer or to get tickets for Slayer, something to do with Slayer. But they met in line, and they got married, and they've been married all these years. And it might have been Clash of the Titans when they met.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
Yeah,
that would have been like what, 90, 89,
let's see, 91.
Okay.
91, Clash of the Titans.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's cool. That's really cool to hear. Do you have any, you mentioned earlier, in stores, and you'll have performances, you have people come and play in the shop. And I know it's probably been, a little tricky with the pandemic.
Yeah.
Do you have anything lined up right now? Do you have anybody coming in?
I don't right now, but I'd like to do something this year because it's our 35th.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, by the summer we can do a 35th party, because we haven't done a party since the 30th.
Yeah, that's right.
Wiener dog races, and so I'd like to do that, but it's kind of up in the air right now. See how the pandemic, how that goes.
Yeah, kind of messed up everything.
Yeah. But yeah, we did have Mike Deeb here in September, so
that's right.
Cool.
Yeah, I missed that one, unfortunately. I had mandatory overtime at work.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I understand that. I understand about that, but haven't done anything since. And the last one we did before that was the beginning of the pandemic. So see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah, it'd be great to have it's so cool to 35-year anniversary party. That would be fantastic. Yeah, I can't believe it's been 5 years since I mean, obviously it has been 5 years since the 30th, but it just seems like that was yesterday.
Yeah, it goes fast. Yeah. Here we are. Yeah, 35th.
That's wild. That is crazy. Well, Kevin, this has been great chatting with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Victor. Yeah.
And if, as I mentioned, there are links in the description. Everybody, please check out the Heavy Metal Shop. If you're in Salt Lake City, Utah, if you happen to be in Salt Lake City, make sure to get down to the Heavy Metal Shop. It's a treat. Kevin's awesome. There's so much great stuff there. Cool vinyl. Pick up a T-shirt. Lots of cool different designs. Just a great place to hang out and check out all the cool metal that Kevin sells. So Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good talking to you, brother.
You too.
Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Vic.